Hello everyone. So today I'm going to be doing a haul update. My very first video, I did a first impression of some items, and I think that was like close to 2 months ago now. So I am going to be discussing those items plus a few others that I've been purchasing here and there that I have my ideas about formed. There are some other items that I am still testing out, and I will let you know what I think about them later on. And I'm gonna grab something, but oh no, that's not it. I thought I had something that I was going to be reviewing under the covers of my bed, because that's where I'm sitting, but I can't seem to find it, so I'm not going to worry about it. Awesome. So everything that I'm going to be talking about, I am wearing on my face, and let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to discuss is the L'Oreal Infallible Matte Lock Primer. It's okay. I mean, it's not the greatest primer in the world. Out of everything that I'm going to be talking about, this is probably the one, actually one of the ones I have like kind of meh feelings about. So I love the L'Oreal Infallible line. Absolutely love it. The eyeliner, like the Pro Last Infallible eyeliner, is fantastic. I actually have a few L'Oreal Infallible items in front of me. So this one is probably my least favorite of that line. I mean, when you first put it on, yes, it smooths, yes, it blurs, you have that nice velvety feeling so that you have an even canvas to put on your makeup. But it doesn't keep my oils at bay. I have oily combination skin, so I mainly get oily on my forehead and on my cheeks. And I find so I usually put this on my nose, my cheeks, my chin, and my forehead. And by lunch, I'm oily and I need to either blot or powder. It doesn't, and it says it's long wearing, and I think the claim they had is like for like 12 hours it's supposed to mattify your face, and I just don't find that it does. It doesn't prolong my makeup. I mean, my makeup still breaks off in this area and on my chin. My makeup, the chin is the first place my makeup breaks up. It's really interesting. So it's okay. I'm glad I got it at 45% off though, I have to say that. Alright, so next we're going to be moving on to the Maybelline Dream Cushion Foundation. So Fresh Face Liquid Foundation on the go, and I am in the color Classic Ivory. This is it's comfortable. It's lightweight. It's probably more cover than any other cushion foundation out there from what I've heard. This is the only cushion foundation I've tried, so there are a few others I want to try. I think L'Oreal True Match makes one. I don't know. I'm going to look into that. However, it is the only foundation I find that settles into my smile lines. I do not have that problem with any other foundation except for this guy. So, again, matte product. I am starting this out such on a negative note. It's awesome. But, I mean, I'll probably more or less use it for touch-ups more than use it during the day. So, it's okay. I mean, if I had to choose between this foundation and one I absolutely hated, I would definitely choose this. Alright, so now we're going on a bit more positive. This is the CoverGirl True Blend It's Lit Concealer, and I really like this stuff. I use it pretty much every day. So today I have it under my eyes and to highlight my face. It does settle into my fine lines, but every concealer settles into my fine lines. I have very deep set eyes. I have probably fairly deep set fine lines under my eyes. So every concealer I've ever tried settles in there. It's just a thing I get to do with it. However, it covers my dark circles really nicely, and it lasts, so I enjoy it. So another item I bought at the 45% off was the e.l.f. High Definition Under Eye Setting Powder. It's a very long name for a very little container. However, This powder is going to last me forever, for starters, because, I mean, even though it's such a small container, you get a fair amount because I just use a little bit. I don't use a ton, otherwise it dries out my under eyes, and it makes me look a lot older, so I don't bake with it. I don't bake with anything because I have never had success in doing that. But I like it. It makes my under eyes very velvety. It's one of the few under eye setting powders that I put there because I have very watery eyes. So normally my under eye setting powder, it like bunches up when my eyes start to water, and then I have to like flake it off and my concealer's gone and it's just awful. This doesn't do that, so I really enjoy it. Alrighty, so now we're going on to the Milani Baked Blush in Luminoso. There is a reason this is a cult favorite. This is another one I got at 45% off. I love it. It has a really nice natural flush. I don't know if you can see, natural flush to my cheeks. It has this really nice golden sheen. To me, it is the perfect summertime blush, and I pretty much use it every day. It's very, very light, so you don't have to worry about going clown cheeks and applying too much. So I really like it, and like I said, I use it all the time. So highly, highly, highly recommend this guy. And this is from someone who doesn't really like a lot of blush. I like just a little flush, but not like a ton. But it makes me look not dead. Alright, so the bronzer and the highlight I'm wearing is from this guy. This is the CoverGirl True Blends Serving Sculpt palette in Bloom Babe, so it's the one for light skin. This bronzer is a bit dark for me, but I find if I just use a very light hand, it does bronze my face very, very nicely. I can't use too much. This highlight, let me actually open this up and do the whole beauty guru thing for me. There we go. Now I'm officially a beauty guru. Alright, so this highlight, I mean, it's really pretty. It's a lot brighter in a highlight that I usually like. I usually like a very soft, subtle, natural sheen. This has got a little bit more, I don't know if you can actually see it, but it's got a little bit more like reflect to it than what I'm used to. My only thing is if you look super up close, you can see it's very glittery, and I'm not a big fan of that. So there's a lot of highlights in the drugstore I don't like because they're very glittery, and this is less glittery than most of the ones I've used, but I still prefer my Essence Pure Nude highlight. That is like my perfect highlight, and I use it every day. This blush is a lot more coral. I don't know if this is going to work, but it's a lot more coral. It's really pretty, but it is pigmented. It is very, very pigmented. You need a very light hand. You do not need a bunch. As you can see, it's still all over my finger. So it is very pigmented, very light hand. Warning, do not do what I did the very first time I used it. I looked like a freaking doll. It was quite something the very first time I used this palette. I went too hard on the bronzer, too hard on the blush, and I just had glitter all over my face. It was not a fun look. I do not recommend it. Alright, so now on to the last item that I bought at 45% off is the L'Oreal Infallible eyeshadow in Eternal Sunshine, and this is their like loose pigment eyeshadow, and it's what I'm wearing on my eyelids today. It is gorgeous. I think this shade is a dupe for Urban Decay's Half Baked, the one that everyone loves. The color is very, very similar. I prefer, and I have the Urban Decay Naked palette. It's not my favorite palette. I have other palettes that I enjoy much better, including the one I'm going to be talking about next. It is actually one of my the Urban Decay Naked palette is probably one of my least favorite palettes. I find there's just a ton of fallout. It doesn't last all day. Mind you, I've never used it with a primer, so I might revisit it later and we'll see, go from there. But yeah, this stuff is great. It doesn't crease, even though I have such deep set eyes. It doesn't crease on me. It lasts all day. I can wear it for a full 12-hour day of retail, and it lasts, and it's wonderful, and I love it. So, highly, highly recommend. If you want the half-baked look without the price of half-baked from Urban Decay, go with this guy. It's the Eternal Sunshine. It's amazing. Alright, so now I'm going to be talking about the CoverGirl True Naked Sunsets palette. I have a thing for CoverGirl, in case you haven't noticed. I don't know why, but ever since I was younger, I've always been drawn to CoverGirl. I mean, it was the first makeup brand I ever used, so I have a bit of a love relationship with it. Alright, I just lost the little thing. Alright, so these are the colors of it. I'm sure you've all seen it, you've all heard bits and things about it. I love this because it stays put. It stays put all day. Again, I can wear this for a full day of retail and it stays put on my eyes, and that does not happen very often, so I really like this. So today I am wearing this color here in my crease. I deepened up my crease a little bit with what color was it? This one right here. And then I am wearing this guy in my inner corners and on my brow bone. And this was like my base color today. So I really like this palette. It stays put all day and it's cheap. Mind you, warning, it is dusty. It's a very dusty palette. So if you don't like that, you won't like this. But if you can get past the fact that it's a bit of a dustier palette and just tap off your brush. Absolutely tap off your brush. Otherwise you're going to end up with fallout all over the place. But yeah, if you can get past the dustiness, I highly recommend any of the True Naked palettes. I personally have the True Naked, I have this one, and then I have the True Naked Days, which is the really bright, glittery colors. I haven't played with that much as this one, so I'm still on reserve about the Days palette, but I'll let you guys know my final thoughts on it. And I am seriously considering getting the Peach palette. I am not too excited about the chocolate ones, just because I find it's a lot of browns, and I've learned that I really like a nice, bold color on my eyes. So, less neutral, more bolds. The last thing I'm going to talk about today is their limited edition. It is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Les Chocolates line. I have 3 colors. I have 70% Yum, which is a nice dark brown. It's a very 90s dark brown lip color, and I love it. I have it also in Dose of Cocoa, and the color I'm wearing today is Candyman. I like the 70% Yum the best out of all 3 colors I have. The Candyman is, it's a nice nude pink, as you can see, but it's a little bit too light for my skin tone. And same with Dose of Cocoa. So my one complaint with Dose of Cocoa is it wears off funny on the inside of my lips. Candyman doesn't do that as much, and for some reason 70% Yum doesn't really do that at all. This is the one, and it's really odd. It's the darkest shade in the whole line, but it stays on my lips so much better than the other 2. I don't know why, and maybe it's just because I can notice it more because it's so much darker. But the first time I wore this, I wore it for a 10 hours straight, and it looked pretty, I mean, it still looked good at the end of the night. I hadn't touched it up, and it still looked really nice, really dark. It hadn't really flaked off weird, and I absolutely fell in love with this color, and I love the Infallible Pro Matte. The Pro Matte lip colors and the Pro Matte glosses is probably my favorite lipstick line. They're comfortable to wear. I don't like matte lipsticks. I don't like that dry down feeling. I have very dry lips. I can wear these. So to me, that is awesome. Alright, so that is my kind of haul update on where I'm at with those things that I mentioned in my very first video, my very first impressions, and then a few others that I've purchased recently. So if you like this video and you want to see more from me, hit the thumbs up button so that I know that this is the kind of stuff you want to see more of, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell on the bottom. And I hope you guys have an amazing week and an amazing day, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!